Dr. Cortez. Tuloy natin yung discussions sa microeconomics. Lesson 4 tayo, functions of demands. Ayan, so, but before I continue, pwede ba request ng mga nanonood ng aking video tutorial today, pwede bang pa-subscribe button? Salamat. Okay, so, yung ating lesson is just a continuation of the lesson last time about the different types of goods. If you can recall, we ended on the inferior and superior goods last time. So itutuloy natin ngayon yung ating discussion. So, dun naman tayo sa topics to be covered for today. We have only a few topics: necessary, comfort, and luxury goods. We're going to differentiate itong tatlong ito. You also have the substitute and complementary goods and individuals demand and market demand. So ito yung ating focus sa araw na to. Very few of them. And may also present the learning outcomes. So I will take you responsible for mga objectives natin. That after the lesson, these are the things that you are capable of doing. Yeah. Define and explain the law of demand. At this point in time, we have discussed this last time. The law of demand. And define and explain the difference between a demand schedule and a demand curve. Illustrate and explain how an increase in the number of consumer increases the demand for a product, and explain the different types of goods. So hopefully at the end of the session, ito yung apat na you are capable of doing. Okay, let's move on. So that is our target for today. Hoping that meron ako mga nanonood or audience ngayong araw na to. Ayan. Diyan pa ba kayo? Okay, so firstly, let us differentiate necessary goods, comfort goods, and luxury goods sa inyong mga negosyo. Sa inyong mga business, especially if you are selling tangible or physical goods. Meron nga nitong apat na tayo. Ang necessary, from the word necessary. Commonly, the necessary goods are essential or talagang kailangan natin for us to exist. Clothing, food. We need those things. No? Ang comfort goods naman, basically, from the word itself, it makes our life comfortable. Itinawag natin siyang comfort goods. Comfortable, medyo angat tayo sa basic. Pero ang pinakamataas itong luxury goods. Try natin kung masyado kang maraming pera, you can buy necessary goods, you can buy comfort goods, pero minsan itong mga luxury goods parang i-bypass na, parang ayaw mo na siyang maabot eh. Especially if you have scarce resources like cash. Kasi luxury goods are luxuries of life. Ayan. So parang sa tatlong ito, yung pinakamataas level ay itong luxury goods. Yan. That is the basic though. But in economics, they have special meanings. So itong tatlong to, na necessary goods, comfort goods, luxury goods, at sila superior. Pag sinabing superior, goods from our lesson last time. Superior goods, tumataas ang demand sa kanila, itong ating income ay tumatas din. Superior. So, i-recall ulit natin. Pag inferior goods, pag tumatas sa ating income, ang demand sa isang goods ay bumababa, that is inferior goods. Pero pag ang demand sa isang goods tumataas, pag ating income ay tumataas, superior goods. So itong tatlong to, necessary goods, comfort goods, and luxury goods, lahat itong tatlong to ay superior goods. Ibig sabihin, pag income natin ay tumataas, ang demand sa tatlong to ay tumataas din. So, we call them as superior goods. Although not sila superior goods, but different degrees. Hindi naman sila pare-pareho ng level ng increase sa pagtaas ng demand. Meron dito sa tatlong to na pag ang income ay tumataas, ang demand ay tumataas din. Pero kunti lang. Right? Pero sa tatlong to, pag ang iyong income ay tumataas, ang demand para sa product na to ay tumataas ang malaki. Okay? So, iba-ibang level. Although itong tatlong to ay parang superior goods, pero iba-ibang level. As the consumer's income rises, so once again, bakit tinawag silang superior goods? As the consumer's income rises, yung income ay pag tumataas ng yung income, more of each of these three kinds of goods is consumed. Tumataas ang ating consumption. Pero yung percentage of proportion ng ginagamit ng ating pagtaas ng demand ay iba-iba. They differ. Right? Sabi ko kanina, may malaking pagtaas sa consumption at meron ding maliit sa pagtaas sa consumption. Ang important ay lahat ay tumataas sa consumption. Pag income ay tumataas. Kasi itong tatlong to ay, once again, they are superior goods. Ayan. So, meron kang mga products sa iyong mga negosyo later on na necessary, comfort goods, and luxury goods. Okay, so let's move on. Moving my slide. In case of necessary goods, as income increases, the consumption for this kind of goods is also increases. The percentage of total expenditure spent on each of them goes down. Ayan. Pag necessary, although pag income ay tumataas, ang demand sa necessary goods ay tumataas din, kaya lang, ang percentage ay pababa. Pero pataas pa rin. Okay? Example, nung unang buwan, tumataas ang kanyang ng 1%, tumataas ng 10%. Pangalawang buwan, tumataas din, kaya lang 9% na lang. Pangatlong buwan, tumataas pa rin, kaya lang 8% na lang. Pangapat na buwan, tumataas pa rin consumption, pero 7% na lang. So what have you noticed? The demand is increasing pag tumataas ang income, pero ang percentage ay pababa. Ayan, that is in the case of necessary goods. Superior, no? Superior goods ang tawag natin dyan eh. So bakit kaya bakit tumataas ang bakit kaya ang necessary goods ay pababa? Income spent on each of them goes down, the percentage. Okay. So meron siguro kasi pag tumataas ang inyong income, bumibili ka talaga ng mga pagkain eh. Tumataas ang iyong consumption, example, sa bigas, sa food, sa tubig. No? Pero, pag income may tumataas din kasi, yung consumption mo sa bigas, minsan nag-iisip ka, baka mamaya, mas masyadong maraming kanin. So, bababa ang consumption mo sa kanin. Okay? Or pag tumataas yung income mo, tumataas ang iyong demand for water pa rin, pero nag-iisip ka na rin mineral water na lang kaya. Right? So, although tumataas, pero yung percentage ay pababa. Now, some samples of necessary goods. Ordinary foods like drinks, clothing, education, medical aids are considered necessary. Ito yung mga sample. Okay? Pag tumaas yung income mo, bumibili ka ng damot, dadagdagan ng consumption mo sa gamot. medical aid. Right? Pero may time na although tumataas, pero ang percentage ng increase ay bumababa. Yan. Same sa clothing. Pag tumataas yung income mo, ang consumption ng clothing pataas na rin. Pero yung percentage ay pababa. Okay? So that is the necessary goods as part of being a superior goods. Yung pangalawa, comfort. Comfort goods. Ito mga sample ng comfort goods. Some means of transportation is an example of comfort goods. Kasi, tinawag sa comfort. Dati nag-jeep ka. Pero pag income mo'y tumataas, nagbabas ka na. Mas comfortable siyempre ang bus kaysa jeepney, di ba? So, ang jeepney is necessary, basic yun. Pero ang bus is comfortable. Ayan. Kasi mas comfort goods. Kasi you're more comfortable. Some example, good quality of food. Ayan. Pag sinabi nating food, rice, vegetables, those are necessary, basic. Pero pag ikaw ay naghahanap ng comfort food, like good quality of food, example, instead of rice, brown rice, comfortable. Instead of sa mga snacks bar, instead of banana cue, hamburger. Instead of water lang, soft drinks. Instead of yung ordinary clothing, you want to feel comfortable, yung medyo magandang tela. So, clothing, a good brand of clothing is a comfort goods. Tourism, you travel, especially ngayon, dati siguro ang tourism luxury. But now, tourism is comfort kasi we need to unwind, we need to remove stress reliever pag travel, di ba? So for us, you find comfort if you are traveling, not necessarily malalayong lugar, ha? Kasi baka masyadong mahal na travel na yan or tourism, baka luxury na yan. Pero yung mga just go to a province, ang Boracay, stress reliever, so comfort goods. Ayan, no? Ang luxury naman, itong pinakamataas na level, no, sabi natin kanina. So luxury goods include yung foods in high-end hotels. Ayan, no? Pag sa bahay ka kumakain, necessary goods. Pag ikaw ay nag-restaurant, aircon, malamig, ay nagsiserve sa'yo, comfort. Pero pag ikaw ay pupunta ng hotel, fine dining, eat all you can, for example. So, luxury goods, including foods in high-end hotels, especially mga high-end hotels. Pero mga fast food lang, pwede yung comfort goods lang eh. Pero pag hotels, high-end hotels, luxury. So for examples of luxury goods, designers clothing. Ayan, kasi pag pumunta ka sa mall, you want to buy clothing sa mall, siguro mga branded sa mall, siguro mga comfort goods. Pero pag mga talagang nagpatahi ka sa isang magaling na designer clothing, luxury goods tawag natin dyan. Spacious residences are examples of luxuries goods. Foreign tourism, ayan, no? Yung local tourism kanina, you go to a local travel, dito lang, Boracay, Puerto Galera, or Davao, comfort lang yun eh. But if you will travel abroad, foreign tourism, that is luxury. Kasi pwede na mag-travel locally for comfort. But if you want to travel abroad, foreign tourism, medyo mahal na. So luxury. May mga matitindi pang travel no? Example, traveling sa outer space, no? Pwede go offer for $1 billion, will travel to outer space. Will travel underwater sa wreckage ng Titanic. Mga tourism yan eh. Hindi na siya masyadong comfort goods, luxury na yon. Ayan, so yung mga samples ng comfort goods and luxury goods. Ito naman is mga substitute and complementary goods. So, kasi title, pag substitute, kapalit ng isang product. Pag complementary, pang partner, parang pang complement lang or pang partner. The word complementary, you complement. So, parang may isang product ka na, na hindi mo pwedeng bilhin pag wala yung isa. So, one product will complement another product. Samantalang substitute, it will totally replace yung product na yan. Pag complementary, hindi pwede mag-exist yung isa nang wala yung isa. Kaya tinawag natin isang complementary good. Sa mga products nyo later on, merong substitute, you think, no? Kung yung bibenta mong product, is it substitute product or complementary goods? Ayan. Pag substitute, pwede mo totally palitan yung nasa market. Pag complementary, pinapartneran mo lang yung isang product. Pag nawala yun, mawawala ka na rin. Okay, so goods which created joint demand are complementary good. Dalawang products na parehong hinahanap natin. Hindi pwedeng yung isa lang. Joint no? So that is a complementary goods. Sample ba dyan? May sample tayo mamaya, no? So therefore, sa complementary demand for one commodity is dependent. Nakasalalay na doon sa demand ng isa. Pag walang bumibili ng isa, so wala nang bibili ng complementary product. Pag malaking demand sa isang product, malaki rin demand sa kabila. Kasi di complement eh, hindi pwedeng mawala yung isa. For example, pag pen and ink, yung binibili nating ballpen, no, I'm using Parker. O pag may nagbebenta ng cartridge, ng ink cartridge ng Parker, sabihin, pag walang ballpen na Parker, walang bibili ng ink cartridge mo kasi magka-complementary nga sila. No? Parang sa mga sa whiteboard marker, no, na ginagamit natin. Yung whiteboard marker, yung wipe out, yung nabuburang marker sa whiteboard. Pero meron isang ink na sa bote, di ba? So, complementary. Pag walang bibili ng marker, wala nang bibili ng ink po na sa bote. Tulad din na may ink cartridge ng printer. Ayan o. Printer. Especially now yung mga, dati kasi, mga old model mga 20 years ago. Kaya aking printer, binabalahan ko yun. Binabalahan ko ng ink. Nasaksa ko yung ink doon. Ngayon naman, ganun pa rin. Pero meron lang mga product, mga printer na continuous eh. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka na bibili ng cartridge. Ang bibili mong ink ay nasa bote na lang. Pero ganun pa rin. Nasa bote pa rin yung ink, hindi nga lang nasa cartridge. So, pag wala kang printer, hindi ka bibili ng ink. Pag malakas ang demand sa printer, so malakas ang demand sa ink. Sample din mga computer and software, 'di ba? Pag meron kang bumili ng laptop, papainstall ka ng software. Hindi naman pwedeng walang software, 'di ba? Hindi pwedeng hardware lang eh. Kailangan ng software talaga. So pag walang benta ang isang laptop, wala nang benta ng software kasi complementary nga. More sample. Yung kotse tapos diesel, gasolina, car, and diesels are complementary. Yan. So you can still think of complementary products na nakikita nyo whether you are a pedestrian, office worker, or estudyante. That is complementary goods. Now, ang substitute goods, those are the goods that compete with each other to satisfy any particular wants. Yan ang substitute. Kumbaga, substitute products are independent. Hindi sila nakadepende sa sa sale or demand ng isang product. Kasi pwede na nilang palitan yung product na yun. Alala ko gamit ko dating communication device was pager. Mga 1995 to mga 1995, 96. Wala pang cellphone dati, Pero ang dumating yung cellphone, yung pager, bigla na lang siyang nawala. Ang cellphone was a substitute products. Dati, it totally eliminated. Kahit yung radio, two-way radio, ginagamit natin two-way radio, it was eliminated nung dumating yung cellphones. So, substitute products ang cellphone. A good example, actually, ng substitute products are the cellphones. Alright, nandiyan ba kayo? May nakikinig pa ba sa akin? Pataas nga ng kamay. Okay, let's move on sa ating presentation. Ito naman samples, Samples ng substitute products pinapalitan. It totally eliminated. A good example here, Coke and Pepsi are substitute ang Coke and Pepsi, or which one? Ang Coke ba ay substitute ng Pepsi, or ang Pepsi ay substitute para sa Coke? Yan. So, ibig sabihin, pag tinanggal mo yung Coke, okay lang, meron pa rin Pepsi. Kasi nga, sila ay substitute. Example, substitute product, butter and margarine. Which one do you like? Butter, peanut butter, or margarine? Sa akin, pareho ko kinakain yan I like peanut butter. I also like star margarine. So, they can exist without the other. Kasi, substitute products, let's say. Example pa, meron dalawang klase ng kotse, yung diesel-driven or diesel-powered na kotse. At itong electric-powered cars. Talagang they are totally independent. They are not relying on the other. Kasi electric talagang totally ibang klase ng sasakyan Kuryente nagpapatakbo, di ba? Yung diesel naman, gasolina. So it's one. Kaya nga pinakamayamang tao ngayon, si Elon Musk, di ba? He is into manufacturing of electric-powered cars. So, kasi bagong mode of transport yan electric-powered. So, mayroong bumibili ng mga yan. Unang-una, siyempre, kakaiba. Naiba kapag mayroong electric-powered cars Parang status symbol siya. Hindi pa masyadong pollutants. Diba? Sa atmosphere. Pero mas mahal siyempre. Mas mahal ang electric-powered cars. At the moment, siyempre, pag bagong mode of transport sa unang salang, talagang mahal pa rin yan. But time will come, I know time will come that electric-powered cars will be available or can be available, can be tawag sa kayang bilhin. I forgot Can be I'm losing my memory. Anyway, more example of substitute. So, pwede kong mamili. Pagdating naman sa investment, you can choose between investing government bonds or company deposit. Yan. Bibili ka ba ng, example, meron kang 1 million pesos. What are you going to do with your 1 million pesos? May dalawang choices. Bibili ka ng bonds, ang government bonds, or deposit. Or sa bangko. Ibabangko mo ba? Or bibili ka ng bonds? Yan. So which one do you think? Although may kanya-kanyang advantage or disadvantages ang dalawang investment na yan. But they are substitute. Pag ayaw mo ng bonds, hindi mag-deposit. And so on. So I think you can still think of more samples of substitute products. On the other hand, itong sa mga sample, they are perfectly substituting yung isang product. Okay? Example, lapis or ballpen. Ayan. The other hand, may mga products naman that are not so good substitute. Pwede ipang palit pero hindi masyadong nakakasabay. Example nga kanina ay ball pen and lapis. Although pencil can substitute ball pen, pero iba pa rin yung ball pen, di ba? Or ball pens can substitute pencils. Iba pa rin pencil, nabubura yung pencils eh. In addition to that, meron pa rin mga products that are not so good substitute. Example, car and bike. Parang silang mode of transportation. Pero, can bike substitute for car? And if you don't like traffic, bike is better than cars. But if you want comfort and safety, car is better than motorcycles. Pero, parang silang mode of transport. Which one do you like? Airways and railways are mode of transport. Airways, faster syempre. Pero may advantage pa rin yung railway, yung nagte-train ka kaysa. Pag ako, I have the time to travel. Example, I will go to Bicol. Gusto ko yung by bus or by railway. Kasi mas mabagal syempre ng several hours. Pero mas maganda yung ambience, nakikita mo yung dinadaanan mo eh. Samantalang pag aeroplano, hindi. So, depende siguro sa preference ng sa lifestyle ng isang tao. If you are the adventurous type, you want to travel by railways. Pero gusto mong pag ikaw masyadong busy and you are always in a hurry, siguro you will go for airways or aeroplano. Okay, yung mga substitute products and complementary goods. Dito. Okay, ito mga individual demands versus market demands. Very simple to, no? The demand for a good by an individual buyer is called individual's demand. Sabihin, personally ikaw, no? Na nakikinig ngayon sa akin, meron kang product na gusto mo that is different from the demand of the majority. Example, sa bahay. Ikaw, gusto mong cheeseburger. Pero karamihan, majority sa bahay, kapatid mo, parents mo, they like bacon. They like bacon cheeseburger. Ikaw naman, ayaw mo ng bacon cheeseburger. You only want cheeseburger. Sa'yo, that is individual demand. Samantalang sa demand ng majority or demand ng market is different from you. Yung tinatawag natin market demand. Market demand kasi, the demand for a good by all buyers in a market is called market demand. Ibig sabihin, pag sinabi natin market demand, gusto ng market bumili ng cellphones. They like cellphones, so that is market demand. The market, they want to go traveling. O market demand yan. Market demand, parang hindi pa natin pinag-usapan kung anong brand. Basta, gusto ng market, gusto ng taong bumili ng isang particular brand or product. Pag individual kasi, we are talking about the individual, so mayroon kang preferred brand. So, pinagkaiba ng dalawa, that sometimes they may differ. Pwede naman magkasabay. Example, gusto mong brand X. Yung market, brand X din ang kanilang gusto. At sometimes, the market wants brand Y. Ikaw naman, brand X. Ang gusto mong bilhin. So, your company later on will be selling to an individual and will also selling to the market, the larger market. Okay, so let's move on. Firm and industry demand. Yeah. Most goods today are produced by more than one firm, and so there is a difference between the demand facing an individual firm and that facing an industry. All firms producing a particular good constitute an industry engaged in the production of that goods. Lahat ng company na gumagawa ng sasakyan, They are part of a industry that is selling to an market demand. Ayan. So lahat kayo, no? Nagbebenta kasi kahit anong sasakyan ng pinuproduce, kahit yan ay Toyota, Honda, Lambo, Ferrari, kahit anong sasakyan yan, isa lang na yung pinuproduce sasakyan, kotse. Ayan. That is demand ng industry. Ang kanilang sinusuplayan. Pero isang company, they are selling to an individual person that wants a particular brand. So pag sinabing Ferrari, ibang Ferrari sa Toyota, di ba? Hindi pwedeng pareho yung kanilang market eh. Although both of them are selling to a larger market ng sasakyan. Pero sila individual demand. Ang Ferrari siyempre, it is selling to those persons who want luxury cars, faster cars, no? Ang Toyota naman selling to a market na gusto yung mga pangmasa lang, mga simpleng sasakyan lang, no? Ibang industry demand tapos firm. Example sa India. Cars in India are manufactured by Maruti Suzuki, Tata Motors, Hindustan Motors, Premier Automobiles, and Stanford Motor. Lahat ng manufacturer ng sasakyan, they are selling to an industry demand. Industry na nagbebenta sa demand. Lahat ng taong gustong bumili ng sasakyan, they are answering to them. Pero individually, meron silang tina-target na market. Yun ang firm demand. Isang firm lang yan. Right? So, yung mga sample ng I know Tata Motors is one of the popular brand of automobile sa India. Example, the demand for Maruti car alone is a firm's company demand, where is demand for all kinds of cars industry. Maruti example, yung Maruti kanina is a brand in India, di ba? So, pag ikaw ay naghahanap ng isang Maruti na sasakyan, you are a company demand. Individual demand ka lang. Pero if you are the market looking for a car, you are the industry demand or the market demand. So mas marami siyempre yung market demand, no? Kesa you are selling to individual. So mga kotseng pangmasa na hindi masyadong luxury na pwede sa lahat, no? Yan ang ng Toyota, mga Japanese cars. Mga Italian cars kasi, mga iba yung kanilang target market eh. Example, Ferrari, Lamborghini, ano pa yan? Ducati, mga brand, Italian brands, no? Iba yung kanilang target market eh. Similarly, the demand for good rich refrigerator is a firm's demand. Ayan. If you are looking for a particular brand ng refrigerator, individual demand ka lang or firm's demand. Pero yung mga taong lahat na naghahanap ng klase ng refrigerator regardless of the brand, that is the industry's demand. Okay, so hoping that you have distinguished now between individual or firm's demand versus the industry or market demand. Ganda ng refrigerator na to. Ang brand na ito, Godrej refrigerator. Okay, so moving on, why demand analysis is needed as a business person? Bakit? Bakit kailangan natin ng yung analyzing the demand? Demand analysis is needed basically for three purposes. Ito yung mga reasons. Bakit ikaw ng negosyante is important, hindi ka lang benta ng benta. Bakit ka nag-aaral economics? Because of this purpose. Number one, to provide the basis for analyzing market influence on the demand. Para malaman natin, no, yung mga behavior mga preference, mga taste, lifestyle, psychographic factors ng demand sa ating mga produkto. Kasi if you're selling something, you start with the market diba? Hindi ka nagbebenta ng product na ikaw lang may gusto. So you started market research para malaman mo yung preference sa mga buyers mo. Number 2 reasons why we analyze the demand: to provide the guidance for manipulating the demand. Ayan. We can manipulate the demand, no? We can, sabi ng nabasa kong research hindi naman pwedeng mag-innovate tayo palagi. Kasi pag nag-innovate ka palagi, yung mga buyer natin, baka they don't have the mental energy anymore to distinguish yung innovation ng isang product. So instead, ang pwede natin gawin, instead of always innovating, we should manipulate or know or influence yung behavior or taste ng ating mga buyer. So instead of introducing always a new product and innovative product, i-manipulate natin yung kanilang preference, yung kanilang taste. Kasi iba, pag masyadong marami kang innovation, baka hindi na bumili because they don't want to choose anymore. Masyadong training sa kanila yung mental energy na they want to distinguish ano bang bago dito. Tapos magbabago ka naman ng nasanay ka lang sa isang product, then may bago nga introduce. Parang draining sa kanila, no? Pagbabago-bago yung kanilang binibiling product. Instead, we can manipulate yung taste, demand, and preference ng ating mga consumers. And number 3, to guide in production planning through forecasting the demand. We can forecast the demand. Marami tayong ways how to forecast the demand. Meron tayong historical forecasting. Basically, we based on the past data. We can also use quantitative techniques in analyzing demand, like the moving average method, the average method, the regression formula. Kaya lang, hindi natin magagawa yun pag wala tayong listahan ng demand. Pag di natin tinitingnan. Okay, the next slide, demand function. So, pag nakalatag sa graph, mas maraming sabi ng isang research, businessmen, people, customers should know how to read ang isang graphical presentation. Hindi palaging narrative ang binabasa natin Because sometimes it is easier to present data using a graph. So itong demand function, we can present the demand function using a graph, a graphical presentation. Kasi demand function it describes the relationship between a variable and determinants independent variables. So, pwede natin pakita sa graph ano ba yung mga nagde-determine ng demand ng isang product. Para pag pinakita natin sa graphical presentation, isang tinginan without reading narratives, alam natin relationship ng isang independent variable doon sa dependent. So marami mga determinants, no? Ang demand, ano mga reason bakit ang demand ay tumataas. So the demand function for a good relates the quantities of a goods which consumers demand for a period in relation to those factors that influence the demand. Ayan. So, sabi kanina, there are lots of factors that can influence your demand. At kung pinakita natin, no, pag isang factor ay tumataas, what will happen to demand? Pataas rin ba siya? Pag nakapresent sa graph, ang narrative, mas madali sa intindihin isang tinginan lang, di ba? Kaya nga, business person, you should know how to present two variables sa graphical presentation. So pag-usapan natin, ano yung mga factors that determine the demand, nagpapababa, nagpapataas ang demand. The impact of these determinants on demand. Okay. Ang price pala, no? Price of product. So, obviously, the prices of products will affect your demand. The price effect on demand for X is inversely related to its own price. Inversely related, ibig sabihin, pag yung presyo ng isang product ay tumaas, yung demand ay bumababa. Kasi inversely, baliktad. So may effect yung price sa demand. The opposite, pag yung price ay bumababa, yung demand for that product is increasing. Kasi inversely related. O yung unang factor, di ba? Price will affect your demand. Ito mga sample ng mga pricing strategy pwedeng gamitin. 17.30 per month, 50% off. Kung nakita mo itong mga to, di ba? What will happen to the demand of the product? Pataas yan eh. Kasi 50% discount, so ang demand, lalaki talaga. 9.90. So instead of 10 pesos, ilagay mo 9.90. Itong pricing strategy ng mga to, they will increase the demand. So price is determinant of demand. Okay, number 2, substitute product. Substitute effect on demand. Yung presyo kanina, kita natin, it will affect your demand for product, pataas o baba. Ito naman yung substitute. For example, may dalawang products na na substitute. Yung Y ay substitute ng X. Palagyan natin ng yung X ay soft drinks, yung Y is mineral water. Wag na lang. Yung X ay soft drinks, yung Y is energy drinks. So, dalawa, no? It's either you drink soft drinks or you drink energy drinks. So, substitute. Pag yung presyo ng Y ay tumaas or bumaba, the demand for X also increases. Pag yung Y is energy drinks, di ba? Pag yung price ng energy drinks ay tumaas, what will happen for the demand for the soft drinks? Tataas ang demand ng soft drinks. Yan ang ibig sabihin niya, no? Na yung substitute product will affect your product. Kanina presyo, ngayon naman hindi presyo ng X na nag-usapan, kundi yung presyo ng substitute na energy drinks. Na balik rin natin, no? Pag yung presyo ng energy drinks ay bumaba, yung demand for soft drinks na X ay bababa din. Right? Kasi, siyempre, pag bumaba ang presyo ng energy drinks, maraming bibili ng energy drinks. Hindi na sila bibili ng soft drinks. Right? Number 3. Ito naman, complementary products also has an effect on demand. Example, pag yung letter J is a complement of X, sabihin natin yung Z is printer, yung Y ay ink. Ayan. X is printer, Y is ink. Pag yung presyo ng printer na Z ay bumaba, the demand for Z goes up. Pag bumaba ang presyo ng printer, the demand for the printer goes up. Pag tumaas ang demand for printer, yung demand for X na ink ay tataas din. Kasi siyempre, pag daming gagamit ng printer, dami rin gagamit ng ink. Pag bumaba ang presyo ng printer, yung demand for printer tataas din. And the demand for the ink will also increase. So, complementary has an effect on your product. Number 4, price expectation effect on demand. Here, the relation may not be definite as the psychology of the consumer comes into play. Ito yung expectation eh. Ibig sabihin, pag they can anticipate na ang presyo ng isang bilihin ay tataas, yung demand para sa product na yan tataas din eh. Example, bigas. Ibenta ka ng bigas, no? Then you anticipated na ang presyo ng bigas ay tataas. Di sinabi mo, maalam ng customers na tataas ang presyo ng bigas. Ano mangyayari? They will do panic buying. So, ang demand for your product na rice ay tataas. Okay, so hoping that you are getting this, guys. Number 5, income effect on demand. Take note, guys, pinag-usapan natin, nas number 5 na tayo. Okay, ito yung mga factors that have an effect on the demand for your product. Okay, mga previous slide natin, pinag-usapan yung presyo, di ba? Yung complementary goods, substitute goods, dahil may epekto sa iyong demand. Ito naman number 5, yung income naman, ay may epekto sa demand ng iyong product. Kasi if the income rises, consumers buy more of normal goods, positive effect. Normal goods, ito yung superior goods, diba? Pag ang income mo ay tumataas, you tend to buy goods na dati konti lang binibili mo. Kaya ito yung ngayon tumataas. Sample ano ba? Ano bang mga sample ng ng normal goods? So pag tumaas ang yung income, the demand for these goods are also increasing. Positive effect ang tawag natin yan. Pwedeng gamot? Pwedeng gamotin. Kasi dati pag wala kang pera, wala ka pang, kunti pa lang yung income mo dati, ang gamot binibili konti lang. Pero nung tumataas ang iyong income, tumataas yung demand for a particular brand of medicine. Ayan. Pag income mo ay tumataas, pero ang demand for a particular goods ay bumababa, ang tawag natin dyan is inferior goods or negative effect. Okay? Ano ba? Example. Ayan, sasakyan. Pag income mo tumataas, bibili ka ng sasakyan. So, dumadami yung demand for sasakyan. Pero ang demand po sa bisikleta, bumababa. So, negative effect. So, in this case lang bisikleta is an inferior goods. Number 6, promotional effect on demand. O, siyempre, pag matindi yung promotion, maraming pa-discount, maraming sale, di ba? Kahit hindi mo gusto yung product, the demand for the product increases. Masyadong maraming may bili. Example number 7, socio-psychological determinants of demand, like taste. You don't like the product, but pag customary Valentine's, you're buying chocolate, you're buying flowers, yung taste mo, yung lifestyle, psychological eh. Example, if you have fear of fire accident, paranoia, takot ka sa sunog, bibili ng products na pang fire prevention like smoke detector, fire extinguisher. If you feel that you are not safe, bibili ka ng baril. If you feel that you are moody, happy, bibili ka ng mga products na if you feel na you want, nakulang ka sa knowledge about business, bibili ka ng mga librong about business. So, socio-psychological. If you feel that you are not welcome in the society, bibili ka ng mga damit na trendy para ikaw ay welcome sa isang grupo, isang barkada. Lahat sila naka-Korean outfit. Ikaw hindi. Di ba? Parang you have a social needs, dapat you belong to them. So, bibili ka ng mga outfit na Korean style. Korean style outfit. Ayan. So, ayan na nakasample natin. Promotion. Socio-psychological determinants. Okay, so let me see. Okay. That is the last slide pala. So, I hope that you learned something, guys, kayo sa ating discussion today about microeconomics, about the last part of kinds of goods. So, see you again sa aking mga susunod na video, tutorial, and once again, this has been Dr. Cortez, signing off.